Alright, so this video is showing how to graph an equation of a line given an equation in slope-intercept form. So all you have to do is kind of concentrate on the number all the way to the far right, right here. This is actually telling you where to start on the y-axis. So you're going to put a dot right here on the y-axis. And then it says here how to travel to get to the x direction. Now, if you recall, a negative slope means that if you were to look at a graph from left to right, the graph should be going downhill. Okay, so it should be decreasing in value as you go from left to right. So my argument is that basically if you go down, I know I have to go, this top number tells you I have to go in the y direction, and this tells me I have to go in the x direction. So the top number tells in the y direction. So I'm going to go, since I can't go up 2, I'm going to go down 2. Alright, so now I'm kind of sort of right there, but that's not my final spot. And then I've got to go right 5. Now, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this direction, when I connect this point here and the one I already have drawn, I will make a slope of a line that's positive. So I want to go the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll put another point here. Now all I have to do is connect my points. I'm horrible at this. Wow, that's a very ugly line. But you get the idea. I'll get better and better at this as actually, it's going to drive me crazy to have it that way anyway. So let me redo it. Alright, let's try again. Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe I'll go this way. Well, better. Anyway, that's how you do it. So basically, again, you start for the number that's the number that's right here, and then I follow my slope. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, the next one. So when I do this one, I wanted to show this one because of the fact that I don't have a fraction and I have to remember what to do. Anyway, this number right here, plus 1, again, that's what you're going to do on the y-axis. This is called the y-intercept by the champ. Y-intercept. Okay, and that's where you cross the y-axis. So this is going to be we'll put a dot right here. Again, it only takes 2 points to make a line. So again, I'll follow the slope. Here, if you notice, I don't really have a bottom number. So anytime you have a number that's not written as a fraction, you write it over 1. Alright, so again, this is the y direction, and this is the x direction. So I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then over 1. And again, we were talking about slope. Since this is a positive 3, my slope of my line will look like that. And sure enough, it does. And let me just make a different color here just for the effect. And let's see if I can do this really well. I'm not very good at drawing these things on this tablet, but there you go. So that's how you graph a line. It's fairly easy. And again, if there's no number here, you would start here on the origin. But since I started at 1, I would start at the 1 and then go up 3. Now, if you notice, if I had, my line wasn't so crooked, but if I could go down 3, as long as I went to the left 1, I would still end up on that line. It would be down here. So no matter what I do, as long as I made it look like it had a positive slope, I would be in good shape. Alright, so that's it. So that's what happens if you need to solve an equation where you have a y-intercept and a slope. So slope-intercept form, and how do you graph it. Next up is what happens when it's not in that form, and what do I do. Alright, so this is when you're going to be asked to graph an equation of a line when you're in standard form, or in form not with slope and intercept, kind of straightforward. So what do? Alright, well, in order to do that, we have to get y here by itself. Alright, so that's what we want to do. Alright, so we're going to get the x over the other side. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to subtract. Now, well, I'll do some of the math up here. we're going to be left with 5y equals. Now, try to rearrange this thing so it's in mx plus b form, because that's how our brain knows how to graph it. All right. And then here you have 5y, but you again are only interested in y. 5 is attached to y with multiplication, so we're going to use division to get rid of it. So we're going to divide everything by 5, and then we're going to try to clean it up a little bit. So we get y equals, this guy leave it alone, that's our slope, and then starts off at minus 3. Alright, so let's see what goes on here. So we go and we put, let me change the color just for fun. Alright, so we put a dot on negative 3, okay, because that's our y-intercept. Now it says according to this I'm supposed to go down 6, but I can't go down 6. So what I'm going to have to do is go up 6. But remember, with a negative slope, our line should be going downhill. Alright, so here I go, or decreasing. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, in order for this thing to still be going downhill, I'd have to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's my second dot. And then I just draw a line. This should be not so much fun because it's so far away, but gosh, that's horrible. Anyway, I'll get better at it. Anyway, this is the equation of the line. So basically, you just have to get it into that y equals mx plus b form, where the b is where you start and the m is your slope, and you should be in good shape. Alright, so let's try one more example. Let's see if I can get this thing to clear out. There we go. Alright, so what do we do first? Right, so we're going to subtract 2x from both sides, and we're going to write, again I'll use some space up here since I have it, 3y equals, and then you're going to rearrange it so that it's in mx plus b form, and then divide by 3. Now remember, it's not always subtraction, but because this is a positive, we are going to subtract, but if this were a negative, we would add. So you just have to do the opposite. Basically, you should kind of see a imaginary plus here and a plus and a minus kind of idea. Anyway, to clean this up, we're going to get negative 2/3 x minus, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. Alright, so I start off on the negative 1. And I got to go down 2, 1, 2. And remember, I have a negative slope. Okay? So it should be something like that. So I go down 2 and over 1, 2, 3. And then there's my second point. And then I just, wow, I really missed it that time. Let's try it this way. Okay? And there's my line. As clean as I can get it anyway. Alright, so hopefully I've answered all your questions. You've got it in slope equals mx plus b form and what's called standard form, which is what this is in, to do well on your first test. Alright, thanks.